last Friday, WWE announced, I believe its first inductee into this year's Hall of Fame class, Rey Mysterio. Widely regarded as the greatest mass superstar of all time, the former world champion is now taking his rightful place, and inducting him is the godfather of Dominic Mysterio, Conan. So I wanted to know, how did you feel about Rey Mysterio being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and how do you feel about Conan inducting him?
Honestly, I'm proud of him. I feel like it should have happened a lot sooner, but I didn't see this one coming for some weird reason. I don't know why I thought about so many other names before Ray, even though he was like right in front of my face. But um, I'm expecting a really emotional speech to come out of this. Um, I think that it's sad because I feel like when you think about people's Mount Rushmores, we kind of skip over Rey Mysterio, and I feel like he's like such an underrated act in what he's given to us as fans in the WWE. You know what I mean? And I know like a big reason why he does keep going and doing all this is because he has Eddie in his heart. So I'm expecting that to be entailed into his speech. Like I'm expecting to cry, bitch. I'm expecting to cry. But as far as the choice, I'm a little surprised of the choice for some reason. you know I understand you said it's the godfather of him.
Yeah, Conan is Dominic's godfather, I
I
believe.
actually didn't know that piece of information, so I don't really know how to feel about that. For some reason, like I kind of, well, you can't induct someone if you weren't already inducted, right? Like you can't have someone like Batista go in and induct. No. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of another name that I would have went with, and it's not like coming to mind. Who else would I would have? No, not even Cena. I'm trying to think what would have been another good name to induct Ray. Because when I think about Ray, I think of I think of Eddie, but I think of him as like a standalone act. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he got himself over. Like I
Yeah.
can't think of like, oh, that was the match that really like got him over. Like I feel like he got himself over. Like that's the coolest thing about Rey Mysterio. Like he defies what you would want in a wrestler because he's so small in his stature, but he's so impressive and like he's just like a standout guy who didn't need like a stable or a manager or anyone else to like give him a rub. He was just cool. Like he was just like kids looked up to him, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just awesome. Damn, I don't know who would be a better person then if not him. Did you have another name in mind that you would like
Man,
have in Duck Ray?
the only person that I would have other than Conan and Duck Ray, was probably Eddie. Obviously, I mean, like
That's what I'm saying.
that's the
Who
only
else do you
person.
have?
I can't think of anybody. I can't think of anybody else, to be completely
Like even like
honest.
a legend, I can't even
Yeah,
think of. Like that's crazy that like he's so great on his own and he's so legendary that no one kind of I don't feel like they're even good enough. Wait, did you
right.
have another did you have a
Possibly,
thought?
maybe because of their rivalry in WCW, Chris Jericho. But
Oh, that would have been great. But
that
you
would have
can't
been
do
great.
that.
But I don't think they're going to be able to do that. But as
Damn.
far as
Damn,
I
that would have
think
been perfect. I'm
that would
actually
have
mad they can't do that.
that would be great. I think that would be sick as sick. But I I think we didn't expect it because we kept hearing the name Batista, right? Like we kept
Yeah.
hearing Batista, it's in Hollywood. He was supposed to go in Tampa, so he's going to come in now. So when like everybody thought of the Hall of Fame and thought of LA, everybody just thought, well, Batista. They kept this under wraps. And I remember I put that in the group chat when everything kind of first started popping off. They really kept this under wraps, and kudos to WWE for keeping something like this under wraps in a world where everything gets leaked, because I did not expect this was very much left field. But man, when it
And he's
comes
been
to
on TV all
yeah,
year.
he's
Like,
been
how
on
did we
TV
not
all
see
year.
that?
And then when I found out, when I realized that he was going to be in the Hall of Fame, I was like, wait a minute, him and Dominic are probably going to have that match at Mania, so this would be perfect. This would be a perfect
Word.
Rey Mysterio last match, because Jericho's in AEW, Dean Malenko's a coach in AEW. Like, unfortunately, Eddie passed away. I feel like that would have been like the only other match that could have been like his best retirement match. And like he's only had really like two goals since coming back, and that's being tagging along with his son and then facing his son. So
Anyone
him and
in
his
Mexico could
huh
like induct him? I know it sounds dumb, but like he's like a
Juventud,
god over there. Like you know what I'm saying?
Juventud, But I think why that's why I think Conan is probably the best option because I think that he works with AAA. So
Um,
that may be the best way to go about it.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
like Rey Mysterio really is the greatest like masked superstar ever. And it's kind of crazy to think about it like
period.
that, like without a shadow of a doubt. Like we can talk about his career in matches from ECW to WCW, like being just the heart and soul of that cruiserweight division, to coming to WWE and being probably one of the biggest main roster draws that we've seen in the past 20 years. Like when I think of big names in WWE since 2002, I think of John Cena, I think of Randy Orton, I think of Roman Reigns, I think Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio has been like not only the guy that has been a consistent draw, but the guy that WWE can turn to make anything work. He's had one
That's
of
a
the most
fact.
going back to 2K when they had that whole 2K debacle in 2K19 or 2K18. Who was the next cover star? Rey Mysterio. Why? Because everyone loves Rey Mysterio.
It's a safe. This is he's like such a safe zone. You know what I'm
He's the
saying? Who's
safest
only
person.
mad at Ray?
Right. Everybody loves Rey. Nobody has ever had anything bad to say about Rey Mysterio.
Nope.
Um, Obviously the stuff that he's been able to accomplish out of this world. And when we talk about the most influential wrestlers in the world, Rey Mysterio belongs up there because you turn on any wrestling program now, you're going to see some variation of a 619. You're going to see some type of Hurricanrana. You're going to see some type of lucha libre move that was done by Rey Mysterio, and the wrestler who was doing it probably saw Rey Mysterio doing it, which influenced him to do it in the first place.
Yeah,
So,
like us American fans, like never seen a wrestler wrestle in a match. So any casual that like turns on the TV and sees like the modern day guys, they're just like, oh yeah, like that's like a Rey Mysterio guy, right? And it's just like it's crazy. Like he really bought us lucha wrestling. No one was thinking about lucha wrestling until this little 5'5", 5'3", I don't know how tall he is. Man just came in doing all these flips and tricks that we never saw, but made it work because he was keeping up with the big dudes, bro. Like how you fight the Big Show
right,
and make
Big
it look
Show,
good?
Mark Henry, Batista, like, and that's another thing too was it was, and I have to give credit to Vince McMahon. I don't think he kept a lot of guys that were smaller in height around a lot because he knew that all he needed was one, and the one was Rey Mysterio because he was the
I always
perfect
thought that too.
he was the perfect foil to any big guy. Like even down to even when he wasn't necessarily facing the biggest of guys, you always cheered for him because his small stature in his mind in the mind of the consumer made him the underdog. Think about WrestleMania 22. He had to go up against Randy Orton and Kurt Angle. He was the
Yeah.
underdog, even though he
Hmm.
was in the ring with two guys that he's had more wrestling experience than. He's had more wrestling experience than Angle at the time and Orton at the time. But he was still considered the
Yeah.
underdog because of his stature, his size, and the way that he presented himself. But like, man, like I'm just really, really happy that Ray is getting his induction into the Hall of Fame. It's well deserved. It's well overdue. Like, we're gonna say something. Go, go, go,
No, I just like was thinking about the whole Eddie and Benoit situation and
go.
how crazy it was. Like Ray has experienced a lot. Like, not everyone like tuned into like, his documentary or whatnot, but still, just like it's crazy how much this man has went through, but like he still holds wrestling like near and dear to his heart. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he lost Eddie and he was really close to Benoit, and he lost him. And a lot of people just given up at that point. Like, bro, I just lost two homies in like 2 years. Like, how do I keep going on? And
And one
then
of
he
them is your
kept going
best
on.
friend.
Yes, like
Like,
that's two homies. And like he wrestles with their spirit in his heart. And then later on, I mean, we all heard about that one big tragedy he had where like he was wrestling someone, they died in the ring or whatnot.
yeah.
And like he still keeps going with like, this like with this in his heart, not just for him, but he's representing Mexico, he's representing like his friends that are no longer here or whatnot. He's passing that on, inspiring Dominic. Like it's such a beautiful thing. Like he's such a dope ass person. He's just someone that you would love to get to know. And I don't know, I'm just daydreaming over here about like how important his speech is when we're gonna hear it. Like I want to know what's gonna come out of his mouth. Like I
Right.
want to know like why did he choose for this to be his final chapter? You know what I mean? And what kept him like truly going?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's just fascinating to me. His whole story arc is just like fascinating to me, man. He That's crazy. He's so unproblematic. He really is. I'm
Literally
sorry. I
has
just
not
love.
has one complaint on his name ever in any
No.
locker room. None.
Oh, wow.
None. And that's like,
You know how hard that
yeah, because everybody dislikes somebody. Like, but anyway, man, I could we could sit here and talk about this all day, but let us know how you feel about the induction of Rey Mysterio into the WWE Hall of Fame. But that's not the only international star going in, because this past week